Yo, what is going on, guys? This is your boy DJ. I'm back bringing another video. Today, I have my introduction to competitive Pokemon for you guys. I know I said I was going to do this like in the future, but I decided I wanted to make this slideshow today. And I figured the sooner the better, and I really want to like start working on Pokemon content already. I'm super excited. I'm super motivated. So that's awesome. And yeah, I just wanted to I want to explain. I'm making this video. I realize I'm new, kind of. I've only been playing competitive Pokemon since like beginning of September, I'd say. But most people who are subscribed to this channel probably haven't even played competitive Pokemon once. Like probably have barely touched Pokemon games. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have played through Pokemon games before, but in case you guys are interested, I figured I would make this. Plus, there are a lot of new people to competitive Pokemon in general with the release of Sun and Moon, and I have a little bit more experience in the release of Sun and Moon. So, yeah, I figured I'd throw this together. I think it doesn't hurt, right? But, yeah, let's get right into it. So, what is Pokemon? I figured I had to put this in here just in case anybody knows nothing. But Pokemon is a widely known video game created in 1996 based on collecting and battling monsters. I think 1996 might be incorrect. I mean, their 20th anniversary was last year, so I mean, maybe they had like some weird stuff going on before 1996, but I just kind of did basic math there. Whatever. Yeah, it's based on collecting and battling monsters. I'm sure most of you know this, but it's only available on Nintendo consoles, primarily DS, but they do make side games on the Wii and like the GameCube in the past and Super Nintendo and stuff like that. And it's probably the most well-known game ever created. By this I mean, as example there, if you were to ask a random stranger, they'd be more likely to know about Pokemon than any other game, and that's simply because of the trading card game and things like that, and they're all kind of intertwined with each other, which is really cool, and it is like one of the most popular games, or probably the most popular game, like most widely known, is probably a better term to use. But yeah, why do people play Pokemon? There are many reasons people enjoy Pokemon as much as they do. A lot of people just casually play through the gory. I'm trying to spit out words too fast. I'm sorry, I need to slow down. So people just like to casually play through the story and attempt to complete their Pokedexes, which basically everyone does. But on the side, people decide to do things such as these next two. Others spend quite a bit more time in shiny hunt, which is encountering the same Pokemon over and over again until you get lucky. About a 1 in 4,096 chance. There are ways to increase that, but if you guys are interested in that, go look for tutorials on that. I'm not going to be talking about that. That's a completely different thing. And then people try to find shinies, which are differently colored. And lastly, some of us prefer to competitive battle, and that's what we'll be talking about today. And as I said before I get into it, don't have a crazy amount of experience, but I'm doing my best, and it's mostly for really new people. There's nothing crazy in-depth around here. I will be making more in-depth things in the future with my limited knowledge, but I don't know. I still think I know a decent bit. Yes, so how does battling work? If you played a Pokemon game, you are definitely familiar with single battles and a little bit of double battling, probably not too much at all. But when you battle, you use a team of 1 to 6 Pokemon. In competitive, it is it's basically always 6. I haven't played every format. I don't think anyone's played every format. You never really know what people come up with nowadays, but it's usually 6. Excuse me. To go against one opponent, multi-battles are 2v2s, by the way. Just figured I'd make sure clarified there. There are many forms of battling, such as single battles, double battles, multi-battles, and there are more. I know in Sun and Moon they have battle royales. I don't think anybody plays those competitively. That might become a thing, who knows, but don't think that's competitive yet. And I think in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire they had like triple battles, rotation battles, and stuff. But I never really played those either, so I'm not 100% sure. Competitive Pokemon is primarily played in the doubles and singles formats, though. But you can always play other stuff for fun. It never hurts to play other stuff for fun. What format are competitive battles played in? One of the cool things about Pokemon is that there are tons of different formats and ways to battle. Format not really meaning like single battles or double battles, but I'll get more into it. The most known is VGC, which is Video Game Championship, which is like the circuit held by the Pokemon Company International, and it's like the official circuit for competitive Pokemon battling. But there are also tens of tiers, formerly known as Smogon tiers, played unofficially that are very widely, from using level 5 baby Pokemon in single battles to level 100 legendaries in double battles. And if you want to play competitive Pokemon but you only want to use things like Charmander or Rowlet and stuff, you can play Little Cup, which is pretty cool tier, where you just use level 5 specific Pokemon. I don't really know if there's any like second evolutions in there. I've never played it, but it's always one of the cool examples to be like, yeah, you could play competitively with level 100 legendaries, or you could play with level 5 baby Pokemon. So it's pretty cool. I will be focusing mainly on VGC simply because it's the only format I play and it's the most popular as well. At least, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% sure that it is most popular. Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit of Doubles OU, but that was a long time ago. Well, not a long, like right when I started, I played a little bit of Doubles OU. But yeah, VGC has a rule set that changes every year, but the basics stay the same. The things that I'm going to be talking about in this video stay the same. The differences are usually just like what Pokemon are allowed and where you can get the Pokemon, like what games and stuff. But you guys can find more about that if you are like extremely interested. But this is just basic tutorials for people that don't really know anything yet. VGC is played in double battle format with teams of 6 Pokemon, of which you bring 4 to every battle. There's usually best of 3s. For practice, it's normally you play best of 1s unless you have somebody to play against. But at sanctioned events and stuff, which I'll be getting into later as well, it is most of the time best of 3. Why should I get into VGC or competitive in general? Pokemon community is honestly one of the most friendly communities I've ever been a part of. I make tons of new friends every event. As example, like I was like the first 2 events I went to, I brought a friend along even though they didn't play and they were like bored as hell. So the next time I was like, I can't force another friend to come here. That's not even gonna play. And I was pretty nervous because I didn't know anybody. The friends I had made at previous ones weren't gonna be there. But I showed up and I made like 3 or 4 friends and I had a great time. And it's just like, unless you're like purposely not talking to people, you will make new friends every time. And they're like, there's nobody that's rude. I've never had a bad experience with anyone at a Pokemon event. I guess I've only been to like 5 or 6, but that's a decent amount. And yeah, I mean, the worst thing that's happened is getting rushed around by judges, but that doesn't even happen directly to me. It's just when like, it was when Sun and Moon first came out and we were trying to learn the format and how things would go. And it's extremely welcoming. There's so many online resources and people that'll be happy to help you learn, including me. You can comment down below or DM me on Twitter for like longer conversations and more questions. I will be happy to answer. I will have my Twitter at the end of this video and in the description. There'll be a lot of things in the description though, just to let you guys know ahead of time if you're going down for it now. It's really enjoyable and there's tons of ways to play, so chances are you'll probably at least enjoy one. If you don't like the whole thing in general, like if you don't like turn-based games or strategies, then you might not, but if you want to use certain Pokemon, there's always a way to use certain Pokemon and have them be viable, which is really cool, as opposed to where in other games like in Call of Duty you can only use certain guns, or League of Legends you can only use like certain champions. And it's very easy to play in events and work towards becoming a very high tier player, and there are events all over the globe, and there's pretty good chance that there are in some point of the year events within a few hours of your house, which is really, really cool. In most games, you got to do quite a bit of traveling, and there's infrequent events, and a lot of things are online, but Pokemon is actually a lot more going to places and stuff, which I think is really cool. Some people might think that's bad, but I like it, especially coming from COD, where if your internet was bad, it's basically game over for you. But yeah, how do I get into VGC/competitive? As I mentioned earlier, competitive is quite easy to get into. There are tons of websites and channels that have tutorials and guides all over that can explain the basics of making your competitive team, battle strategies, and even how to simply become a better battler in general, and teaching about the skills you need and things like that. There are tons of stuff. For any tier of competitive from Little Cup to VGC, I highly recommend visiting Pokemon Showdown. They have battle simulation, and you can battle basically anything you can imagine. You could do Little Cup, you could do VGC, you could do randomized battles, you could do Hackmon battles, which is like, I think it's like Pokemon that with moves that they normally can't get, stuff like that. There's tons of stuff. You just mess around for fun. You could build like actual teams in practice, which is what I usually do. Like that's what I usually use Showdown as opposed to like in-game resources, because it's a lot quicker. And yeah, it's a really great resource. It's honestly really cool, and I'm really glad it exists, because without it, once you learn about like getting Pokemon in-game, you'll realize Pokemon Showdown is a really helpful resource. Some resources that will also help you loads be Wolfie Glick's YouTube channel. He is the 2016 world champion. Aaron Cybertron Zhang. I think he placed 3rd in Worlds one year, and he's always been really well known. He commentated Worlds this past year. He's a really great guy. Alex Ogloza. He doesn't do too much VGC on his YouTube channel, but he does have a Patreon. If you find you like him, I highly recommend joining his Patreon. He's an awesome guy. I really love Alex. I love all of these guys, dude, honestly. And Hibiki also, they're all their YouTube channels are awesome. I love all of them, honestly. Like, they're all such great guys, and there are also tons of websites. My favorites would be Trainer Tower, Cerebi, Nugget Bridge, and Smogon. Those are the most popular as well. I'm sure there are a lot of others, but I prefer Trainer Tower. I put it first for a reason. That is probably an accurate order, but Smogon is really good. Obviously, Smogon tiers. Smogon is the hub for those tiers. You can go find like lists of those. There's things like Ubers, which you use like the very, very high Pokemon that are like extremely good, to like underuse, reuse things that aren't usually used, and there'll be listings and stuff. If you want to learn more about that right now, you can go and look for that. As I said, I don't know much about it. But yeah, Trainer Tower is really good. If you want to learn something but you don't know what you want to learn yet, just go on Trainer Tower and you'll find something cool. But Cerebi and Nugget Bridge, if you want to search around for things, like Nugget Bridge has good forums, Cerebi has listings of basically about everything. But yeah, like you'll find them in the search bar if you look for specific Pokemon and stuff. For Cerebi, and then Nugget Bridge has pretty good forums, and Trainer Tower just has tons of stuff in general. So yeah, and part 2, it just about stops there for any format except for VGC, as far as I know, which isn't very far, because I don't know too much about those formats, and I don't want to mislead anybody. So if you are interested in those formats, you can keep watching. There'll be a few more things that might be relevant, but I highly recommend going to other guides and stuff. As I said, there's people who are completely new. You guys probably don't know which one you would enjoy more. If you want to learn about VGC, continue watching this video. Sure, there are tons of other resources as well. But yeah, I'm going to keep going. But if you want, you can leave now if you're more interested in those. But VGC is the most popular, and there's a lot more things that I'm going to get into about it you don't know yet. So don't judge VGC by its cover. As for VGC, you must attend events in order to continue to grow as a player and get better, and even have a chance at qualifying for the World Championships. What I mean by this is there are a few online events, but it is mostly you gotta go to events physically. And like in order to qualify for World Championships, it's impossible to do it online. You can't even get halfway there from being online if you do like literally perfect. I'll get into that more later as well. And you can start looking for events right now by simply following along with me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get out of this. You guys will see this. And we're going to go Pokemon.com. And from here, you click Attend Events. And then you're just going to scroll down, click Find an Event. And then we're going to do New York City, just as an example, just because I don't want to tell you guys exactly where I live. I don't mind the general area. I do live pretty near New York City. And you want to go 250 miles. I mean, you could do any, but if you're going by event date, you definitely want to do 250 miles because it'll put you all over the country and all over the world if you don't give a limit to that. And then I just keep these at any. And I'm going to go premier events only, but I'll show you guys how many of these other things there are as well. And we're going to go video game because that's what we're talking about. And we will go event date since we're in a specific area. So there's not going to be too much here, but these are all sanctioned events in which you can earn CP from. So here is the Pennsylvania Midseason Showdown. I will be attending this in a few days, actually 2 days technically, because I'm recording this at 1 in the morning. And Midseason Showdowns and Premier Challenges, I will get into those in a bit. So they have them at MIT, which I'm sure you guys know. And then if you're in America, that's one of the most popular tech schools. I think the most popular tech school. And they have one in Brooklyn. I'll probably be going to this too. Not 100% sure yet. But yeah, these are all premier events around here. This is one of the most competitive areas for VGC. Not to sound like cocky or anything, but as far as I know, at least, there are a lot of good players around here. I know that for sure. And I think we probably have some of the most events around here. Maybe not regionals, but like PCs and stuff. But there are definitely things all over the US and all over the world. So do not be discouraged. But I mean, we can go here. This could be nothing, but I'm sure there'll be something. Yeah, there's a few things around Dallas. Well, they're mostly in like Houston, I guess. Houston, Missouri City. I don't know much about Texas. Okay, well, there's only 3, but I mean, it's there, okay? If you live in Dallas, I'm sorry, but there's some things. But we'll go back to New York City here, and I'll show you guys how many of these there are. Now, I haven't participated in any leagues or informal tournaments. I'm not saying they're bad. I haven't tried one. I intend on trying something soon. I'm not really sure how they work, but it's probably pretty good practice. I want to say newer players usually attend them. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong, but that's what it seems to me. So it would be probably pretty good for you guys if you're completely new and you just want some practice. Look into it first, of course. You can even call them. It'll list all the addresses and stuff if I were to click on one of these. And I'm sure a few of them probably have a website or some sort of Facebook page set up. But yeah, there's tons of these. There's so many leagues all over, everywhere basically. Yeah, and there's tons of stuff, guys. Like, there's always gonna be something there. Even if maybe there's no premier challenges, there's probably gonna be a couple of leagues. So you don't really have to worry about that. And their leagues are during the week. Premier challenges are usually on the. I don't think I've ever seen one during the week. So you could do these whenever, pretty much, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, that's about it for finding events. We're gonna go back to the presentation now. So what are the most important things in competitive battling? Predictions, also known as reads, are one of the most important things about battling. Since it's a turn-based game, but both players make their moves at the same time, as opposed to you see what the other player does and then you move, as in like a traditional card game or traditional turn-based game. Since that isn't what happens, you got to know a lot of things in order to correctly read what your opponent's going to do or predict what their moves are going to be so that you can play correctly. This will come with time and game knowledge, and it's just like the more you play, even if it's just pointless matches, as long as you're paying attention, you will be learning things. As with probably any game knowledge is always very important. And you want to be able to expect what a specific Pokemon will do if you see it on the field, in the battle. You want to be able to know what it's going to do. You want to be able to know what abilities it has on Showdown. It's very, very helpful. It gives you the speed tier possibilities and possible abilities of your opponent's Pokemon, which is really, really cool. You got to be able to get used to not having that, though, because I've had trouble with that myself. I play too much Showdown, then I go in-game, and I'm like, wait, what abilities does this thing get? But yeah, it's really, really cool, especially when you're new. It's awesome. You'll be able to tell, like, right off the bat if it's possible for the opponent to outspeed you or what abilities they might have. So that's really cool. But yeah, reading is very important. First thing you should do, in my opinion, is find a team that someone's posted online. If they haven't posted it or they don't want people using it, don't use it. Well, you wouldn't know specific things about it anyways, but look for team pastes. If you look for team paste VGC 17, if you look for Gavin Michaels, his team is really good. You can look for Sekiam, I forget his full name is like Miguel Marte de la Torre, I think. And those are players who have won recent events and are very good players. And I'm sure you can find something if you just want to look at team reports. There are tons of team reports, and just take their team. They'll probably have a paste of it where you can copy and put it into Showdown. And go ahead and try that for yourself. For people who have barely touched Pokemon games before, though, I recommend playing through Sun and Moon if you haven't done that. And then doing a bit of research about common moves, abilities, and Pokemon in the competitive scene. I'm sure if you played through the game, you probably won't know about Pokemon in the competitive scene, but you probably know a lot of powerful moves and abilities. Maybe not too many abilities, but like you probably know about like Flare Blitz and things like that, like Blizzard and powerful moves that people will commonly be using. See, what I tried to think of was actually hard to come up with them. But yeah, I mean, if you want to just do research too, feel free. It is always important to know what's happening and all the moves and abilities that exist, because everyone forgets at some point what kind of abilities and moves some Pokemon can get. Yeah, and YouTube channels and websites I provided will have tons of stuff about this. Cerebi will have lists of things like this. Trainer Tower has speed tiers, so it tells you possibly how fast things will be, and if they will usually outspeed you and things like that. But yeah, team building is very important. Don't get me wrong, building your own teams is great, but in order to start, I think taking someone else's team and improving upon it yourself is always very good. I did that, and I went from being basically on the bottom of the Showdown ladder nonstop to going up to like around the 1400s, so I could play more skilled players and things like that. So I feel like that is not a bad idea. How to improve and gain experience. This is still relatively the stage that I'm in right now, so if you don't like me, click off the video, because you probably won't benefit from this. But I want to keep going. And well, there's more useful like stats and facts coming up in a second. So if you want to skip a couple minutes ahead. But yeah, this is just my recommendation as a slide. So what I do to continue to get better, improve as a player, is I watch every single match live streamed or posted on YouTube from official VGC events. You can watch. I'm not including Premier Challenges, which are lower, like the least. I don't know what the right word would be. The lowest on the scale. If you look for regionals and internationals, which I will be getting more into in a bit, I've watched every single regional match and every single international match this year, which wasn't too many. But from the past format too, I've watched tons and tons of matches, and it really helps. It really, really helps, honestly, because as long as you're paying attention. I mean, if you aren't paying attention, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're focusing on what's going on, commentators will talk about abilities and moves. You'll see abilities and moves. You'll see how much damage they do. Do not watch matches in the previous format, though. Do not watch VGC 16 matches. Make sure they're VGC 2017 matches. VGC 16 will not matter. So I just want to let you know that now. If you're anxious to go watch matches, you do not watch VGC 16, or just watch VGC 17. And there are a few channels that upload matches from these events onto YouTube, which I will do my best to link in the description. As you can tell by now, there will be a lot of links in the description, so I might forget a couple. But if you comment, I will make sure to. I will definitely remember. But I should remember anyways. I think I will. But I also recommend playing at least 3 to 4 matches on Showdown or on the in-game battle spot daily. This is assuming, like, I would play more than that. But like a few days, sit down and play for like an hour or two. I usually play for an hour or two a day. But you know, if you have a busy day or something, just try and get a couple matches in. If you're really trying to get good, at least, honestly. I mean, if you're just doing it for fun, don't really care. I mean, well, doing it for fun, but taking it seriously, because I really enjoy just playing a few matches every day. But if you really just don't really care and just want to play for, you know, why not? Then it doesn't really matter, obviously, but I recommend doing that in order to keep everything fresh in your mind, and just you'll always be learning new things, and it never hurts to play a couple of matches. And also do your best to build teams fairly frequently as well, and don't be afraid to experiment. If you see a pairing of abilities that you might think works really well, even though nobody else is using them, that doesn't mean they're not good. There's so many things in Pokemon where you'll just see something out of the blue come up and take everything by storm. I know Ray Rizzo did that. I didn't play in this format, but out of nowhere he used a Pokemon like a bulky, he made a Pokemon bulky that is usually just a straight out fast attacker, and you could do stuff like that all the time. I've seen out of nowhere, I've never seen it before. The other day I was watching a live stream and I saw this super cool strategy where you use a water move that'll hit every single Pokemon in the field, including your own partner in a double battle. But his ability made it so that he heals when he gets hit by a water move. And I thought that was really cool. There's stuff like that that people don't know about, but it's really good. So don't be afraid to experiment. And even if you're not going to be using these teams too much, build them, test it out, and then stop. Or you can go on a backup account if you don't want to. You lose your ladder ranking, but ladder ranking isn't really that important. But you know, if you do care about it. But yeah, just you got to get good at building teams. You can use other people's teams, but that won't last you forever. Using other people's teams makes it more likely that your opponent knows exactly what items you have and spreads and moves and stuff like that. So building your own teams is always good. So just practice with that all the time. I've built tons of teams. A lot of them are failures, and I just, you know, if they're really bad, I just move on. But a lot of times I'll edit around and take notes on what I'm weak to and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just really important to keep practicing with that. So the path to Worlds. I'm sure if you're interested in VGC by watching this video, your immediate ultimate goal will be to qualify for and win the World Championships, and that is completely reasonable. I feel the same way. Excuse me. In order to qualify, you'll need to collect CP, championship points. I probably referenced that a few times throughout the video. We're getting to a lot of the stuff that I've been referencing, I haven't talked about yet now, so if you don't really know what I've been saying, you will know in a second. CP is distributed to players who place well in events, and there's a fairly distinguished scale of smallest to largest events. I will have a slide for each coming up in a second. And just so you know how it goes, it is Premier Challenges, then Midseason Showdowns, and select online competitions, then regionals, and then internationals, and then World, but you don't get CP from Worlds because that's why you're getting CP. And this is how you qualify. This is what you need to qualify. So if you're in the Masters division, so Masters, Seniors, and Juniors, right off the bat, I'm just going to say it's really weird to figure out exactly which division you're in. I can tell you right now, it took me a while to figure out which one I was in, is why I say that. But I can tell you right now, if you're born in 2001 or before, you will be in the Masters division. Seniors division, I'm tempted to say it's 2002 to 2006, but I could be wrong. You definitely want to check into that for yourself, but I guarantee you Masters division is 2001 and earlier. I mean, you could double check, obviously. If you don't trust me, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know Seniors division, and I'm not sure for Juniors division either. But yeah, if you're US and Canada or Europe, which is probably most of you guys, we're going to need 500 CP, which is the most out of everything. And it is a lot. I'm pretty sure last year was only 250, but they had so many people competing in World Championships last year that they had to raise it, make it harder, which is completely reasonable. But it makes it really hard for new players to make it, which is kind of fair. Well, not kind of. It's pretty fair. So, it's unfortunate for us new players, but, it gives us time to take it slowly and gain experience as we go, and not have to worry about rushing around to all these events. What I'm doing is I'm saving up money so that I can, go all out next year, and I'm not going to spend too much this year. I'm going to travel a little bit, and, learn as much as I can, obviously, and playing a lot of events, but I'm going to be taking next year's format a lot more seriously, because at that point I think I'll be skilled enough to have a pretty good chance at qualifying. Maybe not place well at Worlds, but qualifying is quite an achievement in itself. So, yeah. If you are in the Seniors division, which probably a few of you are, you will need 450 CP in US and Canada, 400 CP in Europe. In Juniors division, if any of you guys are in the Juniors division, you'll need 350 in US and Canada, and quite a drop in 200 in Europe. I'm not going to talk about these. You guys can see. I don't know how many of you guys live there. I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but going through all of these would take a while. So, yeah, that is the chart. That is also on the Pokemon website. These screenshots are from the Pokemon website, which I don't think I need to link that in the description. If I remember, I will, but I'm sure you guys can get there. It's Pokemon.com. And we're going to start Premier Challenges. These are the lowest tier events. And they have elevated and regular. They're basically the same thing, but this kicker changes. I'll explain that in a second. But first thing, you get 2 of these per series. That's your best finish limit, so you can only take points from 2 of them. Your 2 best finishes will be taken from each series, which is basically a season. The first one's already over, so ignore that. The winter series is going on now. That started in December, and that goes until the end of March, so we have quite a bit of time. I'm sure you guys, if you want to get going right now, you could probably make 2 pretty easily, depending on the area you're in, of course. But for me, I know I can get 2 in from then to now, or from then to March, I mean. And then the spring series, April 1st to June 30th, not quite as long, but enough time to get to 2, especially once you guys have been in the scene more, or longer, at that point. So yeah, first place, you get 20 points regardless, even if the 2 people show up. If you win, you get 20, which that's pretty funny, actually. I don't know if that ever happened before, but yeah. Second place gets 14, and the kicker, it says number of participants. So if there's 4 people, then the second place will get 14 points. But if there's 3 people, second place will not get 14 points. Only first place will get 20 points because there's no kicker. Third and fourth place get 10 points if there's 8 people. Fifth to eighth place gets 6 points if there's 16 people. Ninth to 16th get 2 points if there's 32 people. This does change with elevated. You will get more points if you make it over the 40 mark, which it depends on. I mean, around here, I think we usually do. I've only been to 3 PCs around here, and we broke elevated twice, and we didn't once. But the one time we didn't make sense because it was not only the weekend of a regional, but it was like 3 days before Sun and Moon format started, so it was pretty reasonable. So a decent amount, it'll probably be elevated. But if you guys are in like a less populated area for VGC, then you might not be elevated, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, honestly. I don't think they should have this difference here. The kickers are one thing, but I feel like top 16 should always be getting these points with the kickers, but I mean, like, 2 points for top 16, just but yeah. So yeah, they're good to go to. They're really good practice because it's low tier, cheap to enter. There are entrance fees for all of these, but these are usually like $10. I mean, it depends on the host, of course, but for us it's $10. So you can just show up, and there's 40 minutes from my house is one of the locations they host them around here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, they're probably fairly close. So yeah, those are really cool. And Midseason Showdown. So these are weird. It says best finish limit of 4. You get quite a bit of CP, but I don't know if anybody actually goes to 4 without driving like 12 hours to make it to 1, because these are only available to be hosted. I think organizers can only host 1 a month themselves, and I'm pretty sure there's only 2 or 3 months in which they're allowed to be hosted, hence why they're called Midseason Showdowns. They are allowed to be hosted now, as you guys saw before. I will be attending 1 in 2 days, and there was one at the Dallas Regionals, which was last weekend. They had one like beforehand, I think. I don't know. I don't think that it's officially posted anywhere. Exactly the range of dates that these are allowed to be hosted. I would assume probably through March, probably the spring series, like the spring season for PCs is probably when these are allowed to be hosted. That would make sense. So yeah, attending 4 might be not too legitimate, but it doesn't hurt to try. Obviously, if they're around your house, just go to them. They're probably going to be a little bit more expensive to enter, but there'll probably be a lot more people and probably be a bit better practice. So, definitely look for these. Obviously, these kickers will come into play. I would say probably average would be 64. But I've never been to one of these yet because this is like my first full season of VGC. So, like, I wasn't around last time they had Midseason Showdowns. But I would assume probably a little bit more than PC, so it'd probably be somewhere around the 64 mark. So if you get top 50%, you'll probably get 18 points. But that's just a guess. So, select online competitions. You guys are probably like, whoa, best finish limit, no limit. What are you talking about? Of course you can qualify from this. There is only 3 of these hosted every year. That's what it's been, at least I think every single year, and I don't think people expect it to change. And there's going to be a lot of people playing. I don't want to say any estimate because I actually have no idea, but I would want to say probably over 1,000. And yeah, if you get first place, you get 50 points. So it's essentially a mid-season showdown. Obviously, these numbers are higher with no kickers, but yeah, there will only be 3 of these as far as I know, but it's really good for testing, and it's really good to just get a lot of practice in. If you are using a regular team, you get to play 15 matches a day for 3 days. I believe they're usually over the weekends. That would make sense. So it's really good. It is best of 1, I believe. Actually, I could be wrong, but it would be weird if it wasn't best of 1, considering it's online. And I think you use BattleSpot for it. So, you could use something completely random, like put some weird items on something that usually doesn't have it and just surprise people and get some wins. But yeah, they're cool and they're really good for practice. As I said, it is best of 1. So if you see something that's really stupid that you usually wouldn't lose to, but lose to, just don't underestimate yourself because of that, and don't take it to heart because it's best of 1. And yeah, moving on to special events and regional. So special events, I learned about these a couple days ago, actually. Well, not a couple days ago, probably about a month ago, when they talked about them at London regionals. They're only relevant in the Europe and maybe like Asia and stuff, but not in the US and Canada. They are basically smaller regionals, as far as I know. I mean, it looks the same here too. It looks like they're just smaller regionals. I think there's a few in Europe. There's more regionals than special events. I don't really know why they even have special events, to be entirely honest with you guys, but they do. So we'll go over both. So first place for special events, you get 130. I think I'll just focus on regionals because going through both of these would take a while, and regionals are way more common. So regionals, you're gonna get 200 points for first place. If you get top 8, you get at least 100 points. So that's usually top cut. You guys learn more about that as you go. There's no reason to explain it now. I'll just add a ton of time to this video to explain all that stuff. But yes, top 8, over 100 points, like 100 points or more, which is really, really good. For these, just to give you guys a quick little estimate, you'll definitely get over 100. I mean, I don't want to say definitely, but there's a very slim chance you won't make it over 128. And it's usually somewhere around here. I don't know how popular this season will be, but I'll tell you guys, last season, I think it was almost always this one. They might have made it over 256 a couple times. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure Philly regionals is usually the biggest regional. And I know we almost broke this, but we didn't. So yes, be ready for this, but if you're lucky, you'll get this. You probably won't be getting these. Depending on where you are and how things work, I'm not going to underestimate anything, but most of the time it will be 128 or 256 people there. And yeah, and the best finish limit is 4 for these as well. So you can attend 4. Usually there will only be a couple close to you. If you live in California, that's going to be a completely different story though. There's like 4 in California alone, or maybe 3, or there might be, but there's one in Oregon, there's one in Utah, I think. and stuff like that. So California, you guys have it easy. I mean, California's huge, but whatever. The struggles of the East Coast, dude. No, but we have a couple. We have some. It requires quite a bit of traveling. Philly Regionals was really close for me. That was like an hour and a half away. That was awesome. But other than that, I'm going to have to be driving, anywhere from 9 to 12 hours, or maybe even a little bit more, or flying, or taking like a bus or a train that long and stuff. There are a few regionals I have in mind. If you guys are interested in looking at all the regionals, they are listed on the Pokemon website as well. It will take a little bit of navigation for you to find them, because they're not too easy to find for some reason, at least for me, but I'm pretty stupid. So, all right, internationals. So, before anything, best finish limit is 4. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but hence the name internationals. I think there's only going to be 4. And there was one in London, which already passed, so doing all 4 of them is probably out of the question anyways right now. There might be 5, there might be even more, but I think there's only 4. I don't know, I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm pretty sure. And then there's one coming up in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, and that will be in March, sometime in March. I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but you'll probably be able to find those dates pretty easily online, just like a Melbourne, Australia International. You might want to include VGC in there to make sure you don't get some other random stuff. But yeah, if you do manage to get first place, you will qualify for awards immediately, which is pretty cool. But the chances are pretty slim, because you will get former world champions and like top 8 from worlds. Tons of those guys will be probably floating around these rankings, and they will be there. No doubt they will be there. For these, I don't know the player count for London. I want to say you'll probably get around 512 people there. I don't really think there's going to be this many. I don't think there's going to be over 1,000. I really don't. That would be really cool, but I just can't see that happening. But if it does happen, you're essentially winning a PC if you get in the top 256, which is pretty cool. That's probably harder than it sounds, though, considering there'll be over 1,000 people there. But yeah, I mean, if that ever happens, it's pretty cool. But yeah, these are really awesome events. These are going to be like huge. I'm 95% sure that they're all like officially hosted by the Pokemon Company International, so they will have like official streams like on the Pokemon website. Some regionals are like officially hosted by them, but other regionals are just sanctioned, and they have to do their own like streams if they're going to do any, and stuff like that. You guys will learn more. If you don't really know what I mean, you'll find that stuff, kind of like specific stuff like that, out. And yeah, that's about all I have. I could go more in depth, and I'm sure I'll make more like introductions and stuff like that, especially if this does well. Definitely be sure to drop a like. I don't like to ask for likes for no reason, but if this gets a decent amount of likes, I will make sure to keep doing these. But this, I feel like this will either be really good or really bad, because you guys will either be super interested or not care at all. But if you made it to the end of the video in general, wow, honestly, like, I don't know how you did it. Like, I really don't. You must be like tabbed out right now, that's actually a good idea. I don't even know if I could watch a 40-minute video at all, let alone just like some random kid with 100 subs. But yeah, good luck for sure. That's all I have for you guys for now. I'll do my best to help you all. Just DM me on Twitter, DJVGC. As long as this video doesn't blow up, I'll be able to help every single person that slides through. So don't worry. And I don't think I can help too much if you have a decent amount of experience. I can always give equal input as you, but which I'd be happy to do. But I am pretty new myself, so don't be expecting any like master knowledge here. I'm not like friggin' Gandhi of VGC yet, so yeah. But if you're new, feel free. I would love to teach you guys everything I know and just play. I don't have too many VGC friends that I like. I have people at events, but I don't really have too many people that I just Skype call and play VGC with. So I would be more than happy to hang out with you guys and call and stuff. Anyways, thank you so much for sticking through this, honestly. Like I said, I don't know how you did it, but thank you so much. Hopefully this helps. I really do. And I hope I've introduced you to something that you'll enjoy for years to come. And good luck in your Pokemon adventures. I hope to see you guys in an event someday. And if you get really into it, I'm sure I will. Unless you're from like Japan, then it might be not likely. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't believe how long this is, but there's really no way for me to make it shorter. I tried filming this before, and it was also like 37 minutes, so can't really do anything. But I think it's kind of helpful. You can always just tab out. I probably should have recommended that at the beginning, but Whoops. Anyways, yeah, look in the description right now. Go stop listening to me. Look in the description. And there'll be tons of links there. You can start learning right now. But yes, once again, thank you so much. I'm super excited to continue Pokemon content. I gotta edit a video that I have ready, and I'm gonna keep making videos. And oh my god, I'm so excited. Yeah, hopefully you guys really enjoy this. I love the Pokemon community, and I hope you guys do too. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys hopefully pretty soon. And coming videos. Hopefully I don't forget to upload or anything. And I want to start streaming soon too. My Twitch is always in the description. But if you want to just check out my Twitter, I'll tweet out if I'm live. I'll be streaming stuff like Pokemon and maybe some random other games. But streaming is always pretty fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and peace out.